Also, if you shout at me too much, wait till I'm done before you shout at Give me a countdown. We're starting on the dot at 4 or Hello and welcome to Raw 12:51 AM's coverage of Varsity 2022. After a 2-year break, we are back covering the events of Warwick versus Coventry, and this time on our live visual event, we have netball. We did futsal 2 years ago in 2020, football in 2019, so we thought we'd switch up, come inside, and take a look at the game that is going to take place here between Warwick and Coventry. Obviously, I can't do this on my own, so I'm joined by the president of Women's Netball, Eleanor McCutcheon. How are you doing, Eleanor?
I'm good. How are you, Will?
I'm good. And I think I'm looking forward to this game because obviously netball, it's a fast-paced game. It's very similar to some other games like basketball in particular, but
yeah, exactly.
there are some parts of it that are very, very different, aren't there?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's still a very fast-paced game. We get a point for a shot, so I think that tells you exactly itself how many we expect to be scored within this game, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, and obviously netball matches going up to 50, 60, 70, even 80 points scoring. We should be in for a lot of points this game. And another interesting part about the game in particular, players can only go in some parts of the court, which I want to say might be unique to any sport.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think it's quite interesting because I think it means that all the players are just as important as each other, and there isn't one player that just dominates a game, so everyone has to be as strong as each other in order for a team to be successful.
Yeah, so obviously you've got the two players on the pitch that can score, the goal attack and the goal scorer.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the defenders, the goalkeeper and the goal defence, and then you've got the wing attack, wing defence and the centre who can go everywhere except the Ds. I mean, obviously you say that everyone is important there. Do you think there is one player that's maybe a bit more important?
So I think a centre can be a game changer, but at the end of the day, if you can't get those shots in or alternately stop them from being scored, there's no point to that at all. So I think it is, I know everyone is just as important as each other. Centre kind of carries the game in terms of positioning and movement up the court and making sure that that ball gets from one end to the other. And then obviously then it goes to the shooters to get them in and the defence to stop the goals from being scored.
Exactly. And obviously netball, it's a sport that's rising in profile. It's been played throughout the Commonwealth for a while. It's in the Commonwealth Games, obviously. We're having those in Birmingham in this summer, but it's one that's not in the Olympics yet. And it seems to be one of those that is a bit of a glaring omission. I say netball and squash especially.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to, there's no sort of reason why.
And it's played so commonly in the Commonwealth, which I think is amazing. So, I mean, the teams that dominate the netball field are New Zealand, Australia, South Africa and England. And I think to see that coming into the Olympics maybe in 8 to 12 years' time, I think when it goes towards the Sydney Olympics, they're looking to introduce that as their sport, which comes in. So I think that'd be very interesting going forward. And obviously, Commonwealth Games, it's been there from the beginning, so it's a great thing for us.
Yes, but I guess bringing it back a bit closer to home, obviously, we had our interview yesterday where we discussed sort of the tactics for the game, but who have you got your eye on to put in a good performance?
So I think Abby Wood is our centre, it's her first varsity. I think she'll be very strong. She's had a few injuries this season, but it would be great to just see her have an amazing first quarter. And then, like I mentioned before, so our goal shooter, goalkeeper and wing defence are here from our original 2019-2020 varsity squad. So I think they'll be very strong players and they'll be able to keep the team very centred in what they're doing.
And are there any, have you played Coventry this year before?
So they're not currently in our 1s division, but they are in our 2s division. So Coventry 2s play our 2s. Amazing scores from our Warwick 2s in both games. So they were both very positive outcomes for us. So looking forward to this, I think that definitely puts us in the right direction.
But yeah, I guess taking something from those 2s game, are there any players that they pointed out that they could have an eye on, or are we just watching sort of the whole team?
So their centre I know is very strong, she's their captain. She'll definitely be one that we're keeping our eye on. I believe it's their goal attack, also played for their 2 squad when our 2s played them. So that'd be very interesting to see her step up for this game. And I hope she does put in a great performance because I think that's the sort of teams we want to be playing.
Yeah, and obviously with varsity going on at the moment, obviously it's my first varsity, I'm a second year. So the first year was curtailed by COVID. But it's your third year. It's your second varsity. How are you enjoying it? Have you been to see any of the other games
so I went
far?
to watch the basketball opener yesterday, and I just think overall it just shows you how great it is to be part of that university sport experience and to see everyone out here supporting and representing Team Warwick. I think that's the great thing about varsity, is when the whole university really does come together and show you what sport at university is all about.
Yeah, and this won't be our last varsity coverage of the weekend. We're doing hockey tomorrow live on radio.warwick.ac.uk, doing the ladies' game at 1 o'clock and the next game at 3 o'clock. But it looks like we're about to start the game here, and hopefully it should be a good one between Warwick and Coventry.
Yeah, so everyone's getting into position now. You can see our teams are ready to go, bouncing on the lines. We've got our umpires here that we've had before. We trust them. We know that they're very good umpires. And so I think it'll make for a great game, and just excited to get started.
And it looks like Warwick have decided to take the first centre, hoping to get some points on the board and maybe take an early lead as the players begin to pass it around to one another. Obviously, you mentioned during our interview, we want to be moving it as quickly as possible and potentially getting those points.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can see there from that centre pass, just playing it backwards towards our goal defence, keeping that ball in our possession, keeping it safe, making sure that we get it towards that shooting third. And then taking the shot. And the first one to Warwick from Vita Bush, who's our goal shooter.
Yeah. And obviously, I guess the closer you get to the net, the easier it is to score.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Would you always be looking to get as close as possible, or would you be looking to take a few shots maybe from a bit further away?
So I think, like as a defender, like you can see our keeper there, keeping that goal shooter out as far as possible, making sure that she is not close to that post, and they're keeping her out for the rebound. And I think that's exactly what the defence is all about, just pushing that shooter as far away from the post as possible to make it harder for them to shoot.
Okay, and some of the fouls as well. We didn't discuss it, but what are some of the reasons that a team might be given a foul?
So you have contacts, you can't have aggressive pushing, obviously running into players, etc., stuff like that. So a bit of obstruction there maybe. You have to let your player be able to land their jumps. So obviously in your way, and once they've caught the ball and they're in the way and you catch it. Things like that, just making sure that your player has enough space to move. And then of course the 3 foot rule, so you have to be at least 3 foot away while the other player has the ball.
Yeah, and Warwick have taken an early lead, 1-0. Both teams now having 2 attacks. Warwick unable to convert their second one, and Coventry on their second one. I mean,
so you can see there that goal shooter being kept away from that shooting post by our goalkeeper. It's just about pushing them, like you said, as far away from that post as possible. Yeah,
and I guess what we can see here are fouls taken at the point they're committed. You don't go into the centre.
Exactly, yeah, and you have to stand next to them if it's contact. So a bit of footwork there from the Coventry centre means that it's a Warwick turnover. Hopefully they're able to convert this, keep this ball safe.
So obviously you can't move with the ball, can you?
No, exactly. So you have your landing foot, which then you can pivot around. It means you can basically end up doing about 2 steps if you're a knowledgeable player and you can work it in your advantage. But yeah, it's basically stationary.
And Warwick getting another goal there. Yes, so obviously that's where the height comes in, as well as having obviously that reach towards the goal. It also allows you to take that step in.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're a knowledgeable player and know how to do it right, when you land, you can take quite a large step in towards the post. And so I think that's quite an interesting way of getting towards the post.
Yeah. And centres are always alternating, so it's not about who concedes. If you manage to turn the ball over,
exactly,
almost like tennis in a way.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
manage to break the serve in that, and if you manage to turn the ball over here, then you can gain an advantage.
Yeah, and it also just means we're a very interesting game, and one team never really completely dominates the possession-wise. I mean, they might dominate goals, but definitely not possession because the centres alternate.
And I guess it's all about those key moments, the one where if they miss, you've got to get
the rebound. Exactly, that's what it's all about. I think that's one thing that we've been working towards as a team. So I mean, our ones have had a very difficult season, and so little things like rebounds, that's a turnover really from a rebound. Another shot by Vita Bush, who's our goal shooter, very consistent.
So obviously goal shooter and goal attack can score, so you'd be looking, I guess you'd be looking at them especially within the D, because they're the only players that can go in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about dominating that and being stronger than your defence. Yeah, and just making sure that you dominate that D, you have the space, you can work it round, and you know where your players are, and keeping them in the space that you want to be in order to get there.
And Coventry there with their first score of the match, 10 minutes 40. Yet to play, and how are you finding the game so far? Do you think it's quite an open one?
I think it's definitely still an open one. I think netball cannot be decided this early on in a game. I think it's great for us to get those first few goals out there, keep us comfortable for the moment, but we're getting those turnovers. It's just whether or not we can keep that ball safe going down the court and don't get in a mindset of giving away the balls that can be intercepted. So that's a very long pass and unnecessary. And so I think it's just about keeping the ball safe in order to get those conversions in.
And I mean, you've got to take those risks, because obviously the players are marking one another. You've got to try and get the ball out there, but sometimes, as we just saw there, it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, exactly. And so our centre's already been subbed off here, Abby Wood. She's had problems with her shins all season, which is such a shame, but it just means that our Bucks captain, Erin Farwell here, will be here to take over.
Are there limits to substitutions, or is it just sort of rolling?
Not when it's an injury like this, so she's called time. So that means anyone can be substituted on.
Okay. Yeah, and Warwick back on the ball here. Obviously 3-1 up after 5 minutes, and looking for that goal, but unfortunately it's giving the ball away there. Oh, maybe not.
So yeah, playing that ball back, making sure that we keep possession, I think is already obviously a good decision.
And it is about, because obviously sometimes you can't always go forward, sometimes you do have to play the ball.
Yeah, and I think it's more important to keep possession because you only have 3 seconds to pass it, just making sure it stays in our hands and then not into the opponents, because if we end up giving away the 3 seconds, then that's just as bad as them getting a turnover. So if we can play it backwards, at least we keep the ball.
Well, it means the game sort of has to be played at a fast pace.
Exactly.
You don't have time to not think about your passes, but you don't have time to sort of, I guess, think clearly. You've just got, it's almost instinctive, like thinking quickly.
Yeah, I think it makes it for a very interesting watch as well, the fact that it is 3 seconds. I think most of these turnovers here are from errors on both sides of the court, really. Because you have us getting a turnover from a Coventry ball there, and then Coventry getting one from us straight after. So I think there's just errors from both teams here.
Neither team seems to be able to capitalise either.
Yeah, exactly. It's very backwards and forwards.
After another.
And then it's just about keeping that ball in.
So foul called there on Coventry.
Yeah, so it's a contact for us. That was against our goal defence. That's against excessive pushing. It means that they got a shot at goal and we managed to get the rebound, which I think is great. Like I said before, a rebound again it's just a turnover for us, as long as we can keep getting there.
I mean, as we've been saying, as there is another turnover there, it does sort of look like both teams not really gelling into the game probably as quickly as they'd like to.
No.
It almost could come down to which team.
And yeah, we don't want to give them too many shots at the goal. So we're letting it get in there and we're getting the rebounds, but we don't want to be giving them too many options.
And obviously, all of that came from a Warwick centre, so they got the centre as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a Coventry centre, we managed to turn it over there.
I guess it can become very easy, even if you're like two goals up.
It's only one turnover, really. Two goals is one turnover, yeah. It's one rebound, it's one mistake, really. So a rebound to Vito again, and she converts it into a shot. Just keeping us with that 2-goal lead, just so we're on the safe side.
I mean, is this scoring a bit lower than you would expect at this stage?
I expected probably both sides to be getting more goals in, maybe. Less of the silly errors, but I mean, you can see we converted that goal very quickly from our centre pass, so it's just about doing that.
Professionally, you'd be looking at both teams maybe converting about 90%.
I think it depends on the game. I think some are just more high scoring than others, like I said. Some of the defence is just really strong, so it never quite makes it into that shooting D. And then other times your shooters just dominate from both sides of the court, so it ends up being very high scoring. So another turnover there for us in the defence third, straight into Vita there, great feed, and a shot. So yeah, I think that's obviously boding very strong for us.
That was a really good take, considering
Yeah,
those
exactly.
passes have gone slightly too far, but just managing to reach out.
So that call there was for Coventry breaking, too fast over the third line before the umpires called that.
Playing it across the D there.
Yeah, so that's probably not what you want to do ideally, but I think if we're dominating in that third, then that means that we're able to do that and keep that ball safe.
And very interesting what you saw there from the goal shooter, looking like she was going to go for the shot and then passing it back out,
exactly.
running into the middle.
And like I said, keeping that ball safe. If you know your player's right behind, you're better off playing it again and just feeding it to yourself. And I think that she knows what she's capable of, and she's managed to get all those shots in so far, and I think that's obviously going very well for us.
It looks like Warwick beginning to get into the game a bit more.
Yeah, I think those rebounds, I think have been a key help from us. I think Ant and Riley in that defensive D, getting those rebounds has been very strong.
Yeah. Warwick 7-2 up now, 5 minutes left to play in the quarter. Coventry taking back that rebound and looking to work their way up the pitch. I mean, have you seen any of the Coventry players looking particularly either on their game or maybe even off it?
I can't really comment if they're off their game. I think like their centre, I can tell she's a very strong player. They're looking for her for most of those passes, which I think is kind of what we expected as their captain, having seen her play before. And then in terms of other players, I think time will tell throughout the game, which I think will be really interesting.
Yeah, and they managing to get the ball back there. And it is just about moving the ball quickly, because obviously 3 seconds, it's not a lot of time, is it?
No, exactly, not at all. And again, getting that rebound from those missed shots has obviously resulted in a turnover for us once again. We're managing to get those balls down this court. It's a bit of obstruction there from the wing attack, stopping our players from getting those balls.
It is an interesting one, because obviously the obvious part of defending, you want to sort of get in the face of the attacker, but the rules don't let you, as Warwick take another goal and get an 8-2 lead.
Yeah, I think what's also really interesting to note at the moment is we don't have a single fresher on the court. These are all very experienced players, 3rd, 4th, 2nd years, whereas our bench is comprised of players that are playing butts for the first time this season. So I think.
Do you think that maybe there's a bit of strategy to that?
Yeah, I think that could be exactly what's given us our advantage.
Yeah, because obviously 3rd, 4th years they might have played in Varsity before. They'll definitely.
Yeah, well, a number of these girls have. Yeah.
They'll definitely have played a lot of butt sport.
I think you can tell from the calibre of our goal shooter there. She's doing absolutely amazing, getting those interceptions as well as the shots in.
Sort of just having that experience of what I mean, seems to me would be your biggest game of the season, like obviously versus Coventry, or at least maybe the most high-profile game.
I think it's definitely the most high-profile game of the season, and that's without a doubt. And I think this is the one for our ones, just to give them that push going forward. Because I mean, like I said before, they've had such a tough season this year. It'd be great to see them come away with a huge win.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the crowd around us, like. Goal. If you look at the crowd around us, it's packed in here.
Yeah, it's completely full. I mean, the bleachers have been pushed out on the court.
I wasn't even aware we had bleachers.
Yeah, on Zone A, and we managed to completely fill it, which I think is an amazing example of just Team Warwick and everyone coming out to support.
And Warwick, they're getting their 10th goal, keeping the 7-goal margin. Sort of not allowing, after Coventry have got that goal, not allowing them to maybe build that momentum by immediately responding with a goal of their own.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Riley's putting up such a fight in that defensive D right there.
Obviously they're managing to get away from the Warwick defender and replying again, 10-4, just a minute and 50 left in the first quarter. First quarter that's gone very well for Warwick so far.
Yeah, I think it has gone well. I think we've probably given away more silly errors than we had hoped for, but I think we're still, even despite that, we've still managed to play so strong.
Yeah. And you see sort of the difference there between Warwick and Coventry. Although they got the rebound, the initial shot was from a lot farther away. They maybe don't feel confident enough to drive the
and
ball
also
in.
just not as comfortable in that third because I think we're managing to dominate, which is great. And even there, I mean, that goal shooter just obviously wasn't comfortable in that shooting third, and we managed to get that ball from her, which is great. Great feed from Mia Blaney.
And another goal for Warwick. Goal shooter maybe picking up an injury there. She was sat down on the pitch.
Yeah, probably just annoyed more than anything.
Maybe annoyed the foul didn't get called. What, I mean, did you think it was a foul up there?
I think sometimes it looks like one and it isn't. I think you can only really tell when you're down there. And also if it's simultaneous, so if one's pushing back on the other, it's quite hard to call it as a foul.
That's when the umpires just got to make the decision.
Exactly, and I think if they're both pushing just as hard on each other, then you can't really give that to one team or the other, so you just let the game play out.
Warwick again looking for an opening, unable to take advantage there. Just 20 seconds left in the quarter. Warwick 11-5 up as Coventry try and get one more shot off. Obviously, not that much time left.
You'd say there's not much time left, but 3 seconds for every pass. I mean, it's definitely more than possible to get a goal in those 3 seconds.
Yep. They almost got one, unable to. Warwick taking an 11-5 lead after the first quarter. So now a 2-minute break as we head into the second. It really seemed they began to gel right at the end of that. There was a period, I say 3 to 4 minutes, like maybe around the 7-8 minute mark, where we got a few shots on it. It looked like they were managing to gel. Maybe there was a bit of a slip back into the inconsistency, but it meant we could take a six-point lead into.
Yeah, I think like when we get those centre passes and they go straight in towards the shooting D, straight in and gets converted as a shot, I think that's when it really works well as a team. But it's all it takes is just one pass that isn't catched or something like that, and I think that is what our teams will be looking forward to this next quarter, and just making sure that we tighten all those passes, we catch every pass and stuff like that. And I think then we'll have almost double the amount of shots.
So, I mean, what do you think the Warwick team are discussing right now? What do you think they'll be looking to improve?
Probably thinking about that centre. I mean, a change halfway through a quarter isn't ideal for any team. So just talking to Erin about what they were planning to do with Abby before she had to come off due to her injuries. And then probably thinking about keeping that ball safe, like I said. So our coach there, Trish, talking to our goal attack. So that's probably just about getting that ball down towards the shooting thirds and making sure we keep that ball safe and get those shots in.
Yeah, but do you think they'll be happy with how they've started?
I think you can always be happy with a win, but I think like a team that is so harsh on themselves and always wants to push for more, I think they'll be thinking about the things that did go wrong and how they can better it.
Obviously, taking that 6-point lead, it's always better to be in front than behind. So they must be.
Yeah, exactly.
They must be feeling a bit positive, and they know. I guess they know that with the quality they have, even at this 6-point margin, maybe as the teams begin to get a bit more tired, begin to spread apart in terms of that stamina, maybe they'll begin.
Yeah, and I think what is also really exciting is how amazing our bench is, and so even the girls that can be subbed on later aren't of any less of a standard than the girls that are playing at the moment. And I don't know about the Coventry team, but I think that puts us in a very good position for the third and fourth quarter, even looking forward, because our thinners won't fade because we have the ability to sub on just as great players. I think that's also something that's very interesting to know.
Yeah, it's been a very good game so far. I can't say I watched much netball myself.
Yeah.
And the one thing you do just notice about it is how fast-paced it is. It is just you've got to be as well. And it's a really unique sport in that sense. Obviously, even if you compare it with basketball, even basketball is a bit more stuff down. This one you have to keep going. You have to keep attacking and keep defending. And
yeah, exactly.
It's a really, really unique sport.
And so there our team is ready to start the second quarter. Hopefully this quarter we'll have a better look at our shooting third from our angle as well, which will be quite interesting.
Yeah, we seem to have positioned ourselves right in the Coventry pass. So, depending on how this goes, we might have to get a bit more past them. No, yep, second quarter starting here.
So I think our defence have them positioned perfectly, pushing them there. I think that's perfect.
Foul already called there.
Yeah, it's probably to be expected when she's pushing into that centre third. I think just that drive.
Yeah, I guess, are there any consequences if you get given a lot of fouls? Is it like?
I think like if it's completely excessive, like an awful lot, you can get a warning and then sent off. But I mean that's an excessive amount. Yeah.
So I guess maybe sometimes not fouls are useful because you can.
I think there's a
commit
time
them.
and a place sometimes. Yeah. I mean it's never probably advised because it does automatically mean a turnover. But I think like time, stuff like that, sometimes it is useful.
There's a strategic. I guess there's a strategic element to them as there is in all other sports, really.
Great feed from Mia into that shooting third again, and a lovely shot from Vita.
Again, Warwick with the fast start, getting that point early on, and that must always be key.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously great to go out feeling strong. I think it's always very tense in the defensive third, which obviously you can tell here. So I think it'll be very exciting. Seem to be keeping the ball a bit safer here, Cov, playing it round more, which they didn't do before. But not able to convert that shot.
Yeah, I mean, what we were seeing there, maybe it's because we were a bit closer to the action, but they did seem to be moving the ball a bit more.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like that.
And I guess if you were in that position down there, you'd be more expecting to score than not expecting.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be like your defence are there just to see how many times if they can call the 3 seconds almost, put the pressure on the other team. I don't think anyone always expects a turnover, but I think it's always an advantage when they do. Okay. And like I said before, like a turnover really ultimately leads to a 2-goal lead because you're stopping them from scoring one and you're scoring one yourself.
Warwick with another score there, 13-6 up, and just getting that other goal to get a
So that was from a Coventry centre pass, which is always great. So there, I think like Olivia Ball probably be an interesting catch that. So I think those errors as well have been kicking up on them. Even defensively strong, putting pressure on them, making sure no pass is easy. And causing them to make errors like that, and that ball's gone off, and that's ultimately a turnover for us.
Do you think maybe as teams start falling a bit further behind, they sort of start maybe overplaying it? They start panicking in a way?
I think that just sometimes the pressure could get to anyone. Like our team, even though we could be winning, could start panicking towards the third and fourth quarter. So there's no way of saying either way.
And it is, I'd say the crowd fairly evenly split. Obviously, it's technically Coventry's turn to host this year, but we're at the Warwick Sports Hub. So you'd expect. We've got a lot of people on our side in Coventry, a lot of people over on the extendable beaches at Warwick. I'd say both teams have their support here.
Yeah, I think both teams definitely do, and that's nice to see as well. Seeing a bit of having both sides.
As we say that.
Pardon?
As we say that, Coventry Piper, they've decided to arrive and tell us.
Yeah, I think now they're starting to pipe up a bit. Now they know they're losing, but I think Warwick have this game. I think we've shown that we've dominated, and we're managing to keep possession even in the harder games when Coventry are putting pressure on us.
You do wonder how the crowd's going to react, especially if the game keeps going the way it is, or maybe even as Coventry get back into it, they might get more confident and maybe get a bit louder.
Yeah, perhaps. I think it's just quite interesting. Warwick's seeing him slightly better mannered at the moment.
To be fair, we've seen that for a lot of the sports. So we were here setting up early, and just while watching the cricket, and the men's cricketers from Coventry, very, very rowdy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There were a few choice chants aimed at Warwick. I think they took the win in the end, so maybe that was the reason why. But
yeah, going in there slightly more confident.
But is that just a feature of Varsity, maybe for the first and second years that haven't really experienced it, or just?
I think that definitely is.
If we call it friendly competition, that might not be right, but it's good competition between the two universities.
I think it is good competition. We're obviously both very sporty universities. Warwick are definitely up and coming in that sporting scenario, so I think that's quite interesting to see. And it is an even balance.
Getting a goal, 14-7 now, and yeah, you said up and coming, so was it your first year playing Were the first playing in like their first year, or did they just?
So I think just overall, I think Warwick are up and coming with sports in general. I mean, just buying this sports centre and all the investment that they put into it shows that they're pushing for the sports section of the university. I think when people who are young are looking for universities, you don't necessarily come to Warwick for the sport, whereas I think these facilities are now marking us as a place to be watched and people to look out for in that scenario.
Yeah, and bring it back to netball. When we arrived, it was the Wasps were playing here. Yeah. They were training here, so they're the Super League side. So it's like the biggest league for netball in the country, and the fact they use here really shows.
Yeah, I think it was a bit crazy in my first year. So we train on a Tuesday, Bucks do, and straight after us, Wasps train after. So I think getting able to see those players and having them train in the same facilities as us is a great opportunity for our netball team.
Both Warwick and Coventry getting a score on the board. 15-8 now, so sort of after that early spell they've sort of been trading blows. Neither team being allowed to sort of get either too close in Coventry's case or too far away in Warwick's case. Yeah,
I think they're definitely hot on Warwick's toes the whole time. Not letting them push away too much, which I think is really interesting. Contact there from the goal defence.
It's a very competitive one at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I think every goal still counts.
All right there, another score, 16-8 now, 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the quarter, and I guess left in the half as well.
Great defence from Antonio there, getting that interception.
Moving it up the field really quickly there.
Yeah, I think, and getting it into that shooting day as well.
Unable to. I guess you can't really balance yourself because you can't really step. So
I think especially when the ball's moving fast, it's just about trying to keep that balance.
Coventry back on the attack. Great, good pass there, but unable to convert. Grabbing the rebound.
She wasn't able to get that shot in. I think we're putting up a great defence here. Yeah, lovely from Warwick.
I guess under the net probably the easiest place to shoot, but if you go too far under.
Yeah, I think you've got to remember you've still got that nice little margin of a step in your favour as well, so there's always the one step you can take to be positioned perfectly.
Right there with another goal, 17-8 now. And like we were saying, trading both will go, but then Warwick getting two there, and the gap suddenly looks a lot bigger.
Yeah, it is. They're starting to pull away slightly. Still, Coventry very hot on our toes, not letting us get over double them, I think, which is quite interesting. So even though we've edged apart now with this, I think if they'll retaliate, making sure they've always got within half, keeping them still in the game.
I think there's some great passing towards the goal shooter, who that is very, very on form at the moment. She seems to always be
the goal shooter's very consistent. I mean, she was here in the original Varsity squad from 2020. Bucks won since she was a fresher, so I think having someone reliable like that on the court means that it's just someone to look at and to know that you feel confident playing with. It's another great defence there from Riley and Antonia. So getting that ball down very nicely. And then a bit of a premature pass there from the goal attack. I mean, I think it just shows it was great netball up until that moment.
Is this so I know we discussed it in our interview, is this like the 1 second passing?
Yeah, exactly like I was saying. So it's just, if we either do the 1 second or the 3 second, it's the 2 second that tends to get intercepted.
Why is that?
I think then you've anticipated where the 1 second was supposed to go as a defender, whereas on the 3rd second it's a new dodge, it's a whole new gameplay, so that's what we're hoping to do. The 1 second, either get that straight away or a whole new dodge and a whole new positioning along the court. And that's a Warwick ball there, which is great. Straight down that court again.
And what I'm noticing is a lot of the players are jumping before they get the ball, but you still got to, I guess, keep your eyes on it. But then
definitely, yeah.
There's a lot to think about at the same time.
It is a lot to think about, keeping your eye on the ball, but then also wanting to see whether people are 2, 3, 4 passes ahead even. So I think that's what's really important, because you want to see where you're going after, and not only
convert there, but 5 minutes left in the quarter. We're at 10 goals to the good over Coventry, 18-8, and managing to regain the ball there. I think second quarter, better performance than the first, you'd have to say?
I think we're just starting to really dominate on the court, show us where we want to be. It's unfortunate there from our wing attack, but I think we are able to get this ball back. I mean, some fresh legs just subbed on for Coventry. Probably a tactical decision more than injury based, but.
When will subs start to be being made?
Pardon?
When will subs start to be being made? Is that like
probably after this quarter fast. Keeping it consistent for the first 2 quarters, just make sure we can solidify our place in the game before we start to change things around. Get comfortable playing with each other before changes are made. Some more contact in that shooting D.
Quite strict on it didn't look. It looked a bit quite innocuous, but.
Pardon?
Or the contact looked quite innocuous, but it's quite strict.
Yeah, I think you can tell when one player's pushing more than the other, especially as our umpires are very good, so they can tell what should be called and when. I think they're very experienced umpires, so they can tell quite quickly. Lovely turnover from Warwick again in that defensive third. Lucky.
Yeah, some fluid play there. You do notice that the passes are either 1 second, are either that quick ones, or they're just. I guess it's almost like they're not a bit more thought out, because obviously all the passes are.
Yeah, if you watch the ball going down the court, you dodge before the player in front of you has even caught the ball yet. So we're anticipating the next pass, not the pass that's just been.
And I guess these are the top netball players at the university, so
yeah, exactly.
They're going to be performing. I guess they're going to be performing what needs to be done.
Yeah, and anticipating the next move. Great defence again.
The defending of the Warwick players has been something that's been really good in the last
It has been amazing,
minutes.
yeah. I think they're not giving them any space at all, making those shots very hard. Lovely tip from Antonia. And that just means contact there from the wing attack. Every tip can ultimately lead to a goal, which it has done here.
Oh, a great play there.
Really pulling away with the lead now, which is great.
And
so nice to see.
And crucially ended up being on a Coventry centre, so we get another shot goal.
Exactly. That's what it's like with those interceptions.
Which we convert.
And it goes straight into our...
And suddenly 19-9 turns into 21-9, a gap of 10
exactly, yeah, that was just from one interception really. If everyone converted their centre pass, it would be a draw, so I think just one tip gives you those 2 extra goals, which is great.
And I guess at the highest level, it does become crucial when you don't convert your centre pass, because both teams are so good, so clinical, so consistent, that it comes down to those 1, 2, 3 centre passes that aren't converted.
I think just like keeping that ball safe, like I said, means that you should convert every pass.
And that's 3 in a row for Warwick, and what was 19 can now turn into 23 very, very quickly.
Great.
Bit of commentator's curse there, I think.
Yeah, it's ours there.
Still got a chance.
Lovely rebound from Dieter. Straight in, yeah. And so although the clock is counting down very fast now, I think there could still even be 2, 3 goals in this. Breaking there from the Coventry wing attack, going before the centre pass was called.
Both teams looking to get a good end to the half. Obviously it's Coventry centre, so maybe if Warwick intercepts, get out of the pitch, could be another 2 if they can do it quickly.
No, yeah, exactly. I think you can tell they're struggling to get a decent position under that post ready for shot, which I think is very interesting. forcing them to do the long shots and then getting the rebounds.
You do have to say, I think this last minute or two has been crucial because obviously I Coventry scored there, 23-10. What was a 9-goal gap or a 10-goal gap was very quickly turned into a 14-goal gap just from 2 mistakes.
No, exactly.
As we end the quarter there, end the first half, Warwick 23, Coventry 10, and I think a very good performance from the Warwick team.
Yeah, I think it was a very good performance. Just pushing away to make sure we're getting over half their goals puts us in a better position for the second half of the game.
You got any standout players so far?
I think our defence have been so strong. I think pushing them to not be able to get nowhere near the post and then therefore the rebounds I think has been crucial because we're getting those turnovers. And then Vita, every shot is just amazing. I think Mia Blaney's had some great feeds into the D, which I think is really crucial towards Vita. I think you can see now, so Hannah is coming on for the new goal attack and Grayson at centre. So just fresh legs really, which I think would be great going into the next quarter.
Think anything to improve on, or they'll just try and play more of the same?
Keeping the ball safe really, just making sure we don't do those long passes that go off the court and get missed and ultimately lead to a goal for Coventry. So I think keeping the ball safe is what they're looking for.
But it did seem to be something they improved on into the second quarter.
Yeah, I think definitely, yeah, keeping that ball safe.
We'll take a quick break as we go into the second half. Warwick 23, Coventry 10. Join us after that when we go into the second half. Hopefully Warwick can take that win and Coventry point, I guess.
Perfect, thank you. I'll go grab Olivia drinks for you.
Wow, that was really good.
Yeah, let's go. Sorry, we're going to squeeze out. Dad!
Yeah, I think we can still win this.
Dad! Dad! Dad!
They're in the same league as it's not really fair that our Varsity so just taking that from the team when they break in easy. So our Varsity and I think our is it? This is
Hey!
Done well so far?
Yeah, I'm doing this.
The score's down there. 17-8.
maybe they're not. Maybe that's the end.
You know what's going on?
We're just having a wonderful time.
What's he on about? Welcome back, boys.
How's it going?
Calm down, Liv. No. Yeah, I was just saying, she doesn't play that. She's my favorite. Little Kiwi.
They all did a massive huddle. I was like, yeah.
She thinks he's fucking tired to school.
I was like, they haven't scored a piece. They just got a point though.
Yeah.
Oh no, I did use my
You play netball?
Yeah, I'm in the team. 3, that's fine.
You're rocking the camera and you get
I'm glad we're winning and it's a top score.
Do you know all the players?
Yeah.
They should be.
Should technically be by a bit more, yeah?
So welcome back to our Varsity coverage here at Warwick 51 AM as we enter the third quarter of the match between Warwick and Coventry. I'm joined by a new co-commentator, Olivia. How are you doing, Olivia?
I'm doing really good. It's a really good game so far.
Yeah. And I mean, we were just talking before we came back on air. You were saying that they should expect to win, maybe, and then you said maybe by a bit more. I mean, what do you think?
But, yeah, should be expecting a lot more goals, so keep watching.
Right. Coventry on the attack again. So I guess both teams looking to get that early start.
Yeah,
early
both
goal.
teams want to be fresh out the gates. We've got some fresh legs on, so it should be good.
So who are the players are on for the second half?
I think our centre court's been brought on new. Gray, she's a really good dynamic throughout the court. And we've also got a new shooter, Hannah, down as goal attack, so it should be really good at working around the D.
Yeah. Obviously, I guess that's the key, isn't it? You've got to work it around the D, getting close. And then
Yeah,
get that
you've got to make sure you're working it with each other.
Foul call there. Trying to play it into the centre. Taking the shot, getting the goal. 24-10. And again, you see Warwick getting the first point of the quarter.
Yeah, and it was a turnover, so it's really good for us because it means we can even go high with the score.
Great take there. And as you say there, getting that other goal. And if you can get them on your opponent's centre, it's almost like two for the price of one.
Yeah, that's how you get a big score lead. So you want to make sure when it's not your centre pass, you're turning it over so you can get the goal lead. And another one, yeah.
We saw this at the end of the second quarter. Warwick taking 4 points off 2 turnovers, and they may be looking to get that off. And then from that, so basically 8 points from 4 turnovers.
Yep.
That's almost a crucial score.
Exactly.
And they were able to make it 27-10 now. You were saying they should be scoring a few more.
Yep, they should be scoring.
They must have heard you.
And now they're coming. They can hear it on court. They've got the confidence and they're going for it.
Do you think there is that level of momentum as well?
Yes, definitely. Especially if the ball's going on through court and you've got that turnover, you want to make the turnover worth something.
And especially if you start learning what you can turn over and what the mistakes they're making are, and it becomes easier and easier to exploit.
Yeah.
As we do again.
Yep. She's on fire.
Five goals already in the first 2.5 minutes. Maybe able to make that a 6 if a foul is called. Does seem they've just gone into a second gear after the half-time break.
Yep. Especially them 5 minutes of deliberation. Probably had some good pointers from our coach, and they're off.
What do you think the coach would have been discussing?
I reckon she's probably discussing clean balls, like making sure flat, hard passes, and that we retain sort of got like shooting possession. We don't want to slip up. We don't want to give them a chance to turn over any of our shots.
And another goal there for Warwick. So basically, 3 Coventry mistakes has just turned 6 points.
Exactly.
In Warwick's favour. It just shows how quickly the game can turn.
Yeah, and how quickly the score can go up. Because that's something you can really see from our defence, is that they're very good at like working together to make sure that the shooters can't get close to the post. That makes it harder for them to score.
Yeah, and I guess as we saw there, the further away they are, the more difficult it is. The foul called there, maybe able to convert. Up to 11, Warwick on 29. Don't want to call it too early. Gap's quite large now. You'd have to say that. Warwick, just with that spell, with that, I say 3-minute spell, getting those shots, it has sort of maybe taken the game away from Coventry.
I imagine Warwick have now set their own goal lead, so they're probably working I reckon, to about 40 goals for this quarter, so let's hope it happens.
I mean, what do you think is a good target for Warwick from here?
I'd definitely say in this quarter they can get 40 goals, but that's just over a goal a minute. It's definitely something possible.
The speed at which the ball is moved, I guess it doesn't take that long for a lot of points to get on.
Especially the way the girls are playing at the minute, they don't even need to make that many passes throughout court, so there shouldn't be any trouble in getting the ball down quick.
Coventry unable to convert there. I think this is on a Warwick. I think it's on a Cov centre, so if Warwick manage to get the point here, they have a shot at another. It does just feel like all of the Warwick players are sort of flowing.
They are. They've been working really hard together, so early mornings, late nights, making sure they get the fluidity with each other. Because a lot of the game is communicating and reading off of other people's moves.
Especially if you're playing like those 1 second half, you have to sort of have those routines, have to know where the ball is going to go. Because you don't really have that much time to think about it.
No, there isn't. You've got to make sure you've got some kind of prediction of how your teammate's going to move, because then it also prevents getting in each other's space.
You don't realise maybe just while watching it how much training has gone in, how much time it is each player is going to go. Coventry managing to get the rebound there, but Warwick keeping the ball. 29-11, 9 minutes to go in the quarter. After that spell, it's sort of died down a bit. Coventry and Warwick back on level playing. I guess that power play is just that is crucial. Those 6 points in 3 minutes.
And another goal.
Yeah. And 30-11 now. But they have just almost taken the game beyond Coventry. What was a game they maybe could have got back into is beginning to look more and more like a game that Warwick got wrapped up.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, we'll say that now and they'll come back. Hopefully not. Oh, you have to bag. I guess even if the gap is quite far away, as the time begins to run low, like Coventry in particular are going to have to move the ball more and more quickly to get those shots off quickly and then get them into
I think another sanction just been given against the wing defence. Just watching out for contact on the ball there.
Unable to take in the pass there. Probably maybe a bit of an unnecessary one, but quite a difficult one. But
yeah, definitely a hard pass.
It almost feels like with that confidence that's now coming, with that lead, they are willing to go for those passes. Definitely. When maybe in the first or the second quarter
they were a bit reserved. Lovely feed there.
retaining the ball. Warwick 31, Coventry 13. Fortunately, on a Coventry centre, so the damage is, I guess, mitigated at 1 point as opposed to, I guess, a potential 2. I mean, as we just passed the halfway point, are there any players that you say have had a really good quarter?
I'd definitely say our shooter, Vita, she seems to be having an excellent game. I don't think she's missed any goals at this point, and also our wing attack. It's really crucial to make sure that your feeds into the circle are on point, because otherwise you're not going to get the shot. And if you're positioning yourself up for a player, you want to make sure you're being fed the right ball. But equally, I think the score being so low for Coventry is due to our defence dynamic.
Yeah, the defence has been really top-notch. I guess on attack, the wing attack in the centre just have to really work together.
They do. You've got to be able to read off of one another.
I'm able to take the pass in. But I think Warwick are more comfortable now. Obviously, with that 18-point margin, like, I guess 20 minutes left in the game, they're beginning to feel a bit more comfortable. It's not like the start of the game.
Yeah, they can relax into it now. No, I think Cov will be looking to try and get some more scores in, so it's not such big of a lead. But I think Warwick will equally be looking to make sure they keep it low and retain the big gap.
Yeah, I mean, Coventry's scoring there on a Warwick centre, so getting another chance to go for it. But
yeah, excellent shot.
Not one that you maybe be expecting to go to be.
No, definitely not. It's exceptionally hard. It seems that she's kind of relaxed into her position now.
I mean, you contrast it to basketball, obviously there's a backball in there, you
Yes.
go for shots from further away. But in netball, there's no backball.
No, there is no backboard. It's really hard, especially on them side shots, because obviously on the back you can kind of eye line it, but if it's on the side shot, you're just going straight overhead, so you've really got to have your estimation on.
Yeah. Warwick there responding with a point of their own on their centre, so unfortunately not able to get that second chance, but maybe able to intercept here. And
Yeah, our defence will be looking now to intercept it, I imagine. Or possibly not because of contact being called.
I mean, that is something you notice in the Coventry goal shooter. She's going for the shots a lot further away than probably, I guess, our goal shooter and goal attacker.
Yeah, I would imagine it's because they're not 100% confident that if they pass out, she will get any closer. So I imagine she's been told in half-time that if there's a shot to take it. But equally, that does come with the risk that you might not convert it to a percentage.
Because obviously, she got that shot off there a few minutes ago. Very difficult shot.
Yeah.
Those go in, what, 10, 20% of the time?
Yeah, they're hard to
one, you might
estimate.
miss 4 or 5.
Exactly. I suppose with them though, they're probably just looking at the scoreboard now and thinking they want as many goals as possible.
Substitution there for Coventry. I think the wing defence being substituted out. Hopefully, Warwick can maybe take advantage of the maybe lack of game time they've had so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think that does come though with a hard thing to understand is that you can make the substitutions, but then if they're not playing throughout the game, you can kind of lose the fluidity. Yeah. So it's kind of a hard call. You've got to make sure you've got an experienced player that can come on and fit within the team.
You don't want to be making like 3, 4 at a time.
No.
With how fluid the team needs to be, if you bring a lot of people on, it can disrupt that momentum.
Yeah, you can make a good play and have that one key player that comes on and is able to like boost morale and increase the speed, but equally too many substitutions and you can all of a sudden lead to chaos on court.
Both of the teams, they've both been sort of getting those 1, 2 goals on the gap.
Yeah, I'd say especially this quarter there hasn't been much centre pass turnovers. It has been 1-for-1. Warwick are just fortunate they've got a goal lead to withstand it.
And obviously just right at the start of the quarter getting that 6 points.
Yeah, starting off the quarter so fast definitely helped them.
It ends sort of similar to this way. You'd almost have to look at that period, like that 3-minute period right at the start, as one of the most crucial of the game.
It is. I think sometimes people forget with netball that even though the score is so big, you can have a quick succession of turnovers and all of a sudden it's only within 3 goals. So it is really vital to keep possession as much as you can. Oh, well good from Lucy there.
Going for that shot a bit further away, I think Coventry sort of recognising, like, I guess, the power of the Warwick defence. They aren't able to get right under the goal as Warwick seem to be able to quite easily.
Yeah, that's definitely something our defence do a lot of in training, keeping moving around their player and making sure they're far from post as possible.
Yeah.
because they understand that that's not the shooter's best desire to shoot from.
And now 35-16, just a minute left in the quarter. You'd have to say, I'd say probably their best performance out of any of the quarters so far, starting
Yeah,
well.
definitely.
And then as Coventry, I think they have improved as well. But Warwick,
I would say Coventry.
Warwick have just been able to match it. Coventry getting another goal there. Up to 35-17, maybe, hopefully, Warwick can make the best of the little time we have left. Unable to get the rebound.
Yeah, it could be a last-minute goal, but it looks like Warwick's picked it up and turned it over. Yeah, and we've retained possession.
I mean, in those situations, like when both players are grappling for the ball, what do the umpires just have to call it 50-50?
It will normally be whoever's hands are on the ball first, it will go with them, but obviously if the umpire isn't able to see it, it can lead to a toss-up, but it's really just important in making sure your player keeps going for the ball and like holds on to it just like Grace did then.
5 seconds left, Warwick looking
Looks
for that
like it will
shot
be a
put in.
penalty, so... Yeah, there we go.
There we go. And Warwick, 36-17 on as we finish the third quarter. Again, as we were saying just before, a very good quarter.
Excellent quarter by the girls.
Gap now at 19 points. And not unassailable, we'd say, but
No,
as close to it as you can
Yeah.
get.
Is it same as basketball? Is like full?
Obviously, hearing from some of the other sports, some of the other results that have come in, the Varsity maybe a bit closer than normal at these periods, so it's always good to get a few points
It is.
from the sports.
I think it'll be really good as well for the team if they've got this win. That will like really spur them on, because obviously they've had a really challenging league. So,
And I guess it is completely different playing in front of a crowd as big as this.
yeah, completely. Because obviously for most of our matches we have our Warwick supporters, but you don't often have the opponent's supporters. So that's definitely something to compete with, and I know it can affect sometimes the mental psychology of the game, so making sure you've got a strong mind and confident in your own play.
And I mean, do you think the coach will tell them to do anything different, or just tell them to keep playing the same?
I imagine the coach will just make sure that she's probably voicing, keep your heads together, keep possession, keep going for the loose balls, make sure you don't give up, and probably just keep playing how you have been, because it's been an excellent performance so far.
So if it is just 1-for-1, the gap is still 19 points.
Yeah, so exactly, so they've got to make 38 really turnovers and a chance just to get kind of in the lead. Yes. One of them, I'll send them up.
So yep, obviously this isn't our only Varsity 2022 coverage here on Raw 12:51 AM. We will be covering ladies and mixed hockey tomorrow from 12:30 to 1. Got to wait and see just what the timing will allow us. Obviously, hockey, one of the most played sports on campus. Ladies and mixed, one of the most joined on campus. Should be a good game. Obviously, I know a few hockey players. I know what they're like. I imagine the atmosphere will be electric, and it will definitely be one worth listening to, and maybe potentially worth watching over on our Instagram. Plans still in the works, but we will try and provide as much visual and as much live coverage as possible over tomorrow. So make sure to tune into that on radio.warwick.ac.uk as we go into the fourth quarter of this game. Warwick 36, Coventry 17. We are back for the fourth quarter. Obviously, Warwick 36-17 to the good, 19 points ahead. Coventry with the centre, with trying to get back into the game, trying to overcome that 19-point deficit. Got 15 minutes to do it. It's possible, and that's how they started. Coventry 36. Warwick 36, Coventry 18, Coventry scoring a goal there. And sort of starting along that path to get back into it. But Warwick maybe they can respond straight away. And yes they can. Warwick now 37-18 between the two teams. Coventry on the attack, looking for the shot again, quite far away. Again, unable to drive into that, but it doesn't matter. The goal shooter for Coventry getting that goal, making it 37-19. Again, still an 18-point gap, still quite a large margin. So they've sort of got to hope they can get a few turnovers from the Coventry side. But with like that, when things like that happen, it won't help back to a 19-point gap as the Warwick goal shooter converts 38-19. Well, the shooting's getting good. At the end, or at the start of the fourth quarter, both teams converting all of their chances. Coventry again there, going 38-20 now. Again, the gap back to 18. Will it make a difference when Warwick go back on the attack, passing it around the D, looking for that opening, getting it to the goal shooter, who takes the shot and scores. Both teams very, very consistent at the moment. Gap back to 19, 39-20, and this is hurting Coventry more than it's hurting Warwick. Obviously, they've got to hope that they can get those turnovers, they can get those interceptions, and they can start making up points. But if Warwick keep matching what Coventry do, they don't even need to take a point away. They don't even need to take points away from Coventry, as they do there again. Warwick 40, Coventry 20. They don't even need to lead a bit more. They just need to match Coventry at this point, and as the time starts to tick down, Coventry are going to end up getting more and more desperate, perhaps making more and more mistakes, and perhaps securing Warwick the win. Warwick back on the attack there, into the goal shooter, keeping the ball, but great defending from the goalkeeper of Coventry, managing to intercept the shot and managing to prevent it from going in. I think the first example of a block this quarter, 11 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. So very good shooting from the two teams. Coventry back on the attack and scoring again.
I'm Rebecca O'Connell here with the head of sport at Broadcast 51am. On cameras this afternoon. It's a great game so far. Will, are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it. Obviously, I couldn't do it without my gracious camera team. I've got Rebecca here, I've got Simi, I've got Max on cameras, I've got Luke and Charlie helping out as well. So make sure to check out our coverage. We'll be live tomorrow as well. Maybe obviously a bit less equipment required without the cameras, but I couldn't do it without them today, as Warwick back on the attack, but unable to convert, and Coventry gap down to 18 points, 40-22, 10 minutes 45 left to play in the quarter. We've got to wait and see how it goes. Coventry really not struggling at the moment. They've been performing very well in the fourth quarter, and you'd have to say, if they perform like this for all of the game, as they score again, 40-23, if they perform like this for all of the game, then it might have been a much closer one. But the gap now quite large, not unassailable, especially if Coventry keep moving the ball quickly, keep getting those interceptions, but unable to sort of make a difference, unable to sail that lead with just 10 minutes left and 17 points between the two sides. Warwick back on the attack, straight to the goal shooter. Goes for it and scores 41-23, back to an 18-point margin.
Great. I must say we're getting some great shots from this game.
Yeah, Rebecca's saying they're getting some great shots. And both sides have really upped their game into this final quarter.
In this final quarter, absolutely.
Right, back on the attack, getting that shot. Oh, just unable to convert the shot there. Gap remains at 18 at 41-23. Coventry looking to move the ball quickly, obviously seemingly playing a bit of a slower game than Warwick. Warwick being a bit more fluid. Coventry taking a bit more time, maybe playing that 3 second instead of the 1 second as we mentioned before. Coventry goal shooter going for the shot, unable to convert, but we have the goal defence, the goal defence of Warwick looking to pass the ball out. Obviously, all the players can go in the middle third. They can all play a part in helping the team. As Warwick, another shot, another goal there, and making the score. Sorry. 42-23 as Rebecca mentioned there. Gap back to 19 points, and I think it would be incredibly impressive if the commentators could have struck now. But I think Warwick almost having tied the game up, just 8 minutes left in the game, and as I mentioned before, 19 points between the two. It'll take a lot of mistakes from Warwick and a lot of very good scoring from Coventry for a difference to be made, and almost able to get another shot off there from Coventry, but unable to quite get away from the foul. Foul is called, and Coventry back on the attack, playing it back out, but pass unable to be made. Right, back in the attack, the players passing it around quickly, looking for those options, looking for those quick passes, and looking to get under the net as they are able to there, getting the shot off, getting the goal, Gap back up to 20, after Coventry getting a bit closer, maybe a glimmer of hope there, but I think fully extinguished now as Warwick made the score 43-23.
Question is now, can Warwick get double what Coventry's got at the end?
I mean, you'd have to say now the win, I guess, is wrapped up. The margin of victory is the next thing on their agenda. Seeing how many points they can take over Coventry here, because that could matter in the end. Not entirely sure how the Varsity scoring system works, but you'd imagine a bigger result is always better than a smaller one. I mean, Warwick back on the attack there, goal attack, playing it into the centre. It's not quite another goal there, but you do have to say that the difference between the two teams has been both the defence as well, because that has been top-notch from a Warwick standpoint, especially in the second and third quarters, but also just the speed at which Warwick have been passing the ball, going for that 1 second, instead of maybe the 2 or 3 that Coventry have been doing, and that has been the crucial part, especially as we drive into the D. And I mean, the shooting has been top-notch as well. Obviously, saw another goal there. Warwick now 44-23 up, 21 points to the good. Gap has grown since the start of the fourth quarter, and it has been growing. I mean, it's been growing ever since the start of the game. Warwick outclassing Coventry in, I guess, almost all regard. Both teams play well, but I think just the Warwick first being in that higher division than Coventry. Obviously, Coventry playing the Warwick seconds in Bucks normally, but the first versus the first. Maybe not a fair fight, but that's not what Varsity is about. The Varsity is about the rivalry between Warwick and Coventry, and I think we've seen here that gap in class between the two teams really reflected in the scoreline. And Coventry back on the attack now, maybe trying to salvage a bit of pride with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the quarter, and indeed left in the game. Looking for that opening, looking for that option with the wing attack going to the goal attack, back across the D, getting the pass in, very good pass there, going to the goal shooter who looks to be lining up a long shot, but passing it across, finally getting under the net, and Coventry managing to score again. Warwick now 44 up versus Coventry's 25 points. Back on the attack, obviously off a Warwick centre, off an interception, so Coventry get another go at shooting, unable to convert this time, and Warwick may be able to strike back, but the rebound was taken. Couldn't quite see it from my view up here, but it looks like Coventry able to take that rebound and then able to make good the chance that they got to get 2 points instead of 1. Right now 44 up to Coventry's 26. 3.5 minutes left in the game. And now making it 45-26. You have to say now 100%. It's Warwick's game to win. Definitely not going to be a Coventry comeback now, but just going to wait and see how much the margin of victory is now. Just 3 minutes left in the game, and I think honestly all of the team have played exceptionally well. On the Warwick side, really gelling together, and you can really see the quality that they've had. Obviously, we've been mentioning they've had a tough season, so it must be quite nice to get that win under the belt, especially in such a high-profile game as this. Coventry trying to get another score on the board. Able to get it as well, 45-27, bringing the gap back down again. So Coventry at the start of the end of this quarter having quite good spells. Fortunately not enough in the end, and especially in the middle spell of the quarter. Warwick fighting back and sort of bringing the gap back to quite a large one again, which Coventry have then brought back down. No, I don't care. Yeah, light ribbing from the crowd there as Coventry try and get that shot off. Go for the shot. Unfortunately, unable to miss it. Just 90 seconds left in the game.
Will, with about a minute to go, how are we feeling about the final result?
I mean, I think it's physically impossible that we haven't won at this point, so that is quite good. Obviously, the margin of victory does make a difference. 18 points to the good. Maybe Warwick trying to get a few more points. Would have maybe targeted 50 at the start of it, maybe a few more, but you can't be unhappy with 45, especially restricting Coventry to only 27 and making almost 46. Having another shot, and yeah, this time converting it. 46-27 up. Maybe want to get that 20 point margin of victory? I mean, what do you think?
I think we're close to 50. We're doing really well here. We can get that. Yeah.
I think maybe with a few
one more goal.
maybe with a few interceptions we can get up to 50. 20 seconds left. I think it'll be a tough ask now. I imagine.
47 though.
Yeah, I imagine that the score will maybe be a bit fixed. There's only 10 seconds left. Warwick taking a very good performance, very good victory over Coventry as we go into the final few seconds. Both teams ending it there, and Warwick have taken victory in our live varsity game. Warwick 46, Coventry 27. All of the players on the team playing exceptionally well for Warwick, taking that victory. And I just say, very, very good performance, very fast flowing game from what we've seen. But that has been the netball. Make sure to check out all of the other varsity coverage that we're doing. Obviously, we've got the hockey tomorrow. We've got the ladies. We've got the ladies hockey. We've got the mixed hockey as Warwick celebrate. They're on the pitch. Obviously, very happy with their result. Very happy to win in front of all of their fans. So yeah, as I was saying before, got our hockey coverage or at radio.warwick.ac.uk live on Raw 12:51 a.m. tomorrow. Potentially a few Instagram lives here and there, trying to get as much visual coverage as possible for the event. But that has been the netball. Warwick coming out victors in there. Make sure to check out all of the other events that are taking place this week. And I have been Will Kingswood. This has been Varsity. We're signing off for now, and thank you for watching.